Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanna Rappl, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your underdog, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Hello everybody, it's me, Sashka, and I'm back with a solo episode. This time we are talking about why building a community around your brand is so important. Now, if you haven't checked out my free training on building a business with a business plan, then you need to check that out. Check the links in the show notes. And there is also a free training on building your brand, because there is a difference between the two, whether you're building a business or building a brand. And why for both it's so important to build a community around your business and your brand. Now, three obvious things that I can just mention about why it's so important to build a community is: one, sales, because without a community, which includes your soul clients, the people that are going to be buying from you, your business is then not being profitable, your brand isn't profitable, it isn't influential, and then you're doing nothing else but running a hobby, okay? Second of all, when you are doing this, you are building your credibility. When you have a community, there are people that are following you. You are the leader. And when you're the leader, you're seen as the person that's credible because you have the answers. You might not have all the answers, but you certainly have the answers for those that are following, because they believe that you hold the key that they don't have within themselves. And lastly, and I personally find this the most important element of why you need a community, why it's important to build a community, is that, and you can also refer back to one of my solo episodes about why solopreneurship is actually harming your business and your brand. And when you're running your business, it's so elusive that everyone's like, oh, I'm a solopreneur, I'm doing this all on my own, I'm a one-woman show. And yes, that's the way that you start off, but somehow we get stuck there. We get stuck in being in this one-woman, one-man show. And the only thing it brings you is depression. And that depression brings doubt. And doubt makes you not believe in yourself. And when you don't believe in yourself, and that's the third point, you will fail, period. At some stage you fail, and all you'll be doing is, that you are constantly doing. You're not enjoying your business, you're not enjoying your brand, you're just in the motion. Your heart isn't in it, your soul isn't in it. It's nothing but a process, and it's just mechanical. And that is definitely something that you don't want when starting your business or when running your business and building a brand that's going to influence generations. And what a community does is that when you're seen as the leader, when you are seen as credible, when you're making sales and the money is a byproduct of all of this, it's not the focus, it's the byproduct. You really begin questioning and answering why it is you do what you do. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper, or wider or higher, or however you see it, into the reason why and the purpose and the meaning of this thing, this conglomerate that you've created. And when you start seeing how important your role is in this whole motion, you really, really start believing in yourself, and you really start believing in what you're doing. When you believe, and I find this word very, very strong, because when you believe, you see things that you never saw before. You have energy, not like Duracell Bunny energy, but you have an innate energy that is on fire, where you have ideas that are so solid, so focused, with so much clarity and consistency that nothing can sidetrack you. And by not sidetracking you being ignorant, But you're not sidetracked because you know beyond a shadow of doubt that what you are doing is for a purpose and on purpose. And that belief is only brought about when you have a community around you, because you cannot rise alone. You just can't. You need people, supportive people, even the negative people. You need the community around you to build you up so that you can grow and get to that phase or stage where you have such a strong belief in who you are and what you do and why you're doing it and for whom you're doing it. It's almost like nothing can hold you back. Nothing. You're a force of nature to be reckoned with. And that belief, like I said, only comes through having a community that is built around your brand, because that community believes in you. And when someone believes in you, you start believing in yourself and you get out of that horrible space of just being alone, just thinking you have to do it alone. You might be a mom raising your kids on your own, or a dad. You might have kids with special needs. You might have really energetic kids, like nothing really serious, but you might not be physically capable of running things, or mentally, or you might have depression. Whatever the case is, when you build that community and the community sees you as the leader and credible and believing in you, man, that belief in you is just something else. So now the question is this, and I've written a blog post on it as well, which you can also refer to, is then when you're building the community around your brand and your business and the importance of it, as I've mentioned, how are you going to build a community? Now, there are lots of tools to build a community, and these are marketing tools, and they're there for everybody to use. But these tools are empty vessels, and you have to fill them with you in order for it to work to attract your community. This is very, very important, because often what we see everywhere in business and building brands is, this is the way I did it. And then you go and copy the vessels and the content within those vessels, but the content isn't you. And it lands up being someone else's success. And you then need to go and find it. And then you start not believing in yourself and you attract the wrong community, and then there's money out the window, and it's just this horrible cycle. So it's very important to know that how to build a community mainly depends on psychologically the foundation of building know, like, trust. This is really, really important. Building know, like, trust isn't just in business, it's in life as well. I remember when we first became parents, and I don't know if I read it or I heard it somewhere or something, I can't remember, but I just remember it very clearly, and saying it to my husband and to myself, is that we've become mother and father on paper, but we have to prove that title to our children that chose us. So even in that process, it was building know, like, trust. Our children had to get to know us. They had to get to like us and trust us, and vice versa. I definitely am not a baby mommy. I was 175,000% overwhelmed in being a baby mommy, breastfeeding, not knowing what to do. I avoided buying a lot of books and information. I only had 3 books that I read diligently. And I know there's a gazillion books out there, but I was like, I'm not going down this route of reading everything and confusing myself. And I really made it an effort and a point to, for myself, like you would in your business, to build a know, like, trust, so that I have my community, which is my kids, that believe in me and see me as the leader because they chose me for a reason. I had to find that reason. And then the tools in which we're able to work with one another. And from that comes the belief. The belief, hang on a moment, I actually deserve this title of being a mom because I worked hard for it. My children have helped me earn the title of motherhood and raising them through know, like, trust. So in the blog post that I have, there are 6 phases of building a know, like, trust. And the first is attraction. The second is curiosity. The third is enlightenment. The fourth is courting. The fifth is honeymoon. And in the last phase, it's trust. And in a trust phase is when someone actually purchases items from you in your business, confronts you, comes and speaks to you, reaches out to you with a private message, calls you, steps up and finds the courage to go one-on-one with you, as opposed to lurking in the dark somewhere, just downloading things, or kids actually, in the case of being a parent, in that trust phase, they tell you things that would normally not be told or spoken about with your parents. But when you have that trust, you've gone through a lot of processing in order to build that relationship with one another. Building know-like trust, it takes time. If you're a parent, you know that being a parent, I mean, you have to rinse and repeat a gazillion times the same thing over and over until something just goes click. And then, wow, there's the relationship. That's exactly what we were looking for. Then you start reaping what you sowed and all the seeds that you were planting. And then you start seeing, oh, wow. And then that's when the snowball effect really, really happens, because it catches on fire. Then one person speaks to the next person, or the kids, like if parenting, you know, the kids have trust to the parents. So friends trust coming to the homes of the parents and the kids because they feel there's a safe space, because if the kids trust the parents, there must be something good over there. And just that whole building the community, life, business, as you know, both aren't entities, they're one. And just seeing the polarities between the two and bringing them together, then you start seeing, oh, wow, okay, everything's pretty much fused. It's one thing. So building a community with know-like trust in these different phases, and not just getting a baby in your hands and going, oh, I'm a mother now. You will now be my son and daughter, and you will do what I say. It doesn't work like that. And it's the same with your clients, with your soul group, with your soul clients. It's knowing exactly who you're speaking to, because they chose you before you even knew that you're going to be doing what you're doing, and taking up the responsibility for that, and learning and knowing and growing and stepping into the belief of yourself and what you do and for whom you're doing it, and building the relationship through know-like trust, being honest, being vulnerable, being courageous. There's a lot of information about that from Brene Brown, whom I freaking adore her. It's not often that I adore a lot of people, but man, she's like, it's not just for me. I think it's for a lot of people. She's a kindred spirit. She just knows her shit. And she's down to earth, and she's humble, and there is guilt and shame and all those things that come with believing in yourself and building a community and being open with a community. But you don't have to go share. It doesn't have to, you don't have to vomit everything out. There's a structure to it. There's a process to it, because everybody can only consume so much information whilst you're building that know-like trust. So that is why building a community around your brand is so important, because the end result, the byproduct, is that your business and brand will be seen as credible. You will have sales. They will have constant sales. But in order for that byproduct to come into fruition, there has to be the pre-work in which you're building know-like trust, in which you're building a relationship. And this community needs to know that you believe in yourself, that you really believe in yourself, that what you are doing is for them, on purpose, for purpose, and that you work together, because you cannot rise alone. Nobody can rise alone. And if you're under the impression that you're going to be running your business and your brand for the rest of your life or whatever, just build it up to a stage and then sell it off. Whatever that case is, you cannot do it alone. You need other people who are going to be around you, whether they're positive or negative, because they trigger all the things that help us self-actualize ourselves and grow, to build brands that influence generations. But we have to start in our businesses first and start from there in building the community. And building that community with a know-like trust, it should be fun and it should make your heart sing. And it is a lot of work and it is a lot of effort, and you do put a lot of content and value and read up on a lot and doubt yourself and have ups and downs and all the things that belong to building a community and building a family. But the end result in your business, man, that fruition that you have over there where you stand and you have a community and you're not alone and you believe in yourself, that makes a world of difference. And I know that you are destined to do that. And I know that you're destined to build it as well. So I want to encourage you to really get to know who your soul groups are, or soul group is, why you're doing what you do, and who you're doing it for. That is the most essential part of building a business and building a brand that influences generations. Because without your community, as I said in the beginning, you're doing nothing but running a hobby. So let me know your thoughts on how or why building a community around your brand and business is so important, and what processes you've gone through, what difficulties, what successes you've had. Share with us, share with the community, because we all learn from one another. And I don't believe in competition. I don't believe in cutthroat. I believe that we all do things that are to benefit one another. Stealing from one another will never work anyhow, because like I said before, they're all empty vessels like the marketing tools, and it can only be filled with you that's actually going to attract the community and the sales and the business and the goals and the intentions and the vision and mission and all those things that belong to you only. So leave your comments. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And as always, remember to go forward fast and furious, to be the change that you want to see in the world, and to live it passionately with creativity, wisdom, humor, and imagination. Love you lots, and see you next week. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review, and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.